Hello, my name is Thomas Winston, and today I will be just going through the complete Iron Maiden studio album discography from memory because why not? Seems like a fun thing to do. Iron Maiden is my favorite band, so might as well. So, Iron Maiden was founded in 1975 by the original band members, Steve Harris, who has been with the band throughout all of their um, studio albums, Steve Harris and Paul Diano and Dave Murray. Then they played in a lot of bars and tap and pubs in England, and they released their first studio album in 1980, Iron Maiden. Then a year later in 1981 they released Killers, and then a year later, in 1982, they released The Number of the Beast, and this was their first huge commercial hit. Paul Diano was fired for, I believe it was drug use, and they hired a new singer and his name was Bruce Dickinson, and he he was compared by some critics to he was called the human air raid siren because a lot of people criticized him for his high voice, because Paul Diano, the previous singer, had a more gravelly and harsh voice. And yet, Iron Maiden, with The Number of the Beast, became their first really big commercial hit. And then they went on to make Peace of Mind in 1983. This is when their main drummer, Nico McBrain, joined, and he has been with the band since as well. They went on and released the album Power Slave in 1984. And after that, they went and released the album Somewhere in Time in 1986. This is my personal favorite of all the albums. All of the one coming after is a close second. In 1988, they released not Somewhere in Time. They released Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. That's my second favorite album. Uh, and this was the one of the greatest runs of albums in metal history, because I personally think all the albums released in the 80s by Iron Maiden are fantastic. And then in 1990 they released an album called No Prayer for the Dying. And I would also like to mention that Adrian Smith, their lead guitarist, joined on 1981's Killers, and he was with the band from Killers all the way to No Prayer for the Dying, where he contributed to the writing of Holy Smoke, and then he was not satisfied with the direction of the band, and then decided to leave. So then they hired guitarist Yannick Gers, and so No Prayer for the Dying was released in 1990, and then they had the album Fear of the Dark in 92, and Fear of the Dark is one of their most popular hit singles. Um, and then so after that, Bruce Dickinson and um, Bruce Dickinson left the band to pursue a solo career. He has some good albums if you want to check out his solo career. And he left the band around after Fear of the Dark. So they had two studio albums with a new singer named Blaze Bailey. They released X Factor in 1995. And then they went on to release Virtual 9 in 1998. And after that, they had a big reunion. Bruce Dickinson came back to rejoin the band for the 2000s Brave New World. Then they had Dance of Death in 2003. Then they had A Matter of Life and Death in 2005. And then they had um, The Final Frontier in 2010, The Book of Souls in 2015, and their most recent studio album, Senjutsu, in 2021. And that is the complete Iron Maiden discography. Yeah, that's it. Studio album discography, because they have a lot of good live albums, and they have a B-sides album that's pretty good, and they have some singles and stuff. So yeah.